My son sold my house after my stroke, so I changed my will. 6 months later, the coffee machine hums a tired song in the quiet kitchen. It's always humming these days. Just me and that sound. Sometimes the refrigerator makes a deeper rumble. That's my whole symphony now. I pour the dark liquid into my favorite mug, the one Michael gave me that Mother's Day. Years ago, it says World's Best Mom. A chipped edge near the handle. I traced it with my thumb. Habit really. I haven't used it in a while. But today felt like a World's Best Mom kind of day. Or maybe the opposite. Maybe it was a World's Worst Mom kind of day. A joke. The kind of joke only I would get. I sit at the kitchen table. The same table we ate every meal at for 40 years. Robert and I. Michael grew up here. His artwork used to be taped all over the fridge. Little squiggly drawings of our house. Our dog. Us. A family. Whole. Complete. Unbreakable. That's what I thought. That's what I believed. For a long time. My life wasn't special. Not in a movie kind of way. It was an American life. A good one. A suburban one. We moved here when Robert got his promotion. That was a big deal. New house. 2 stories. 4 bedrooms. A yard. A swing set for Michael. He was 4 then. All dimples and energy. Always running. Always laughing. I loved him so much. It was the kind of love that hurt. An ache in your chest. Wanting to protect him from everything. I thought I did a good job. I really did. Robert was a steady man. Solid. He worked hard. We had our routines. Saturdays were for yard work and groceries. Sundays were for church, and then a big family dinner. My pot roast was legendary. Michael would bring his friends over. They'd eat everything. Laugh until their sides hurt. I'd watch them. From the kitchen. Happy. Content. That was my world. My whole world. We didn't have a lot of money to spare, but we managed. We saved. Robert was always practical. Always thinking ahead. We put money away for Michael's college. For our retirement. For a rainy day. He made sure I understood everything. The accounts. The investments. The house was paid off years ago. Our biggest asset. Our secure place. Our sanctuary. Robert used to say this house is our legacy. Our safe harbor. For us. For Michael. For his family someday. Michael went to college. State school. Close enough for me to visit. Too far for him to come home every weekend. He found his way. He met Sarah there. Sweet girl. Blonde hair. Kind eyes. I liked her immediately. They got married in our backyard. Under the big oak tree. I cried. Of course I cried. Happy tears. Robert squeezed my hand. We were so proud. Michael got a good job. Sarah did too. They bought a small house, not too far away. We became grandparents. Twice. Emily first, then little Daniel. My heart expanded. Again. That ache. But a good ache this time. A full ache. I babysat for them. Every Tuesday and Thursday. When they were little. I loved it. I made them pancakes, shaped like Mickey Mouse. Read them stories. Built forts out of blankets. Emily had my eyes. Daniel had Michael's stubborn chin. They were my joy. My absolute joy. I never minded. Never felt like it was a burden. It was family. That's what family does. We help each other. We support each other. We love each other. Unconditionally. That's what I taught Michael. That's what I lived. Years passed. Robert and I retired. We traveled a little. A cruise to Alaska. A road trip to see the Grand Canyon. Simple things, but we were together. He held my hand more often. We had more time. More quiet evenings on the porch. Watching the sunset. Talking about nothing and everything. We were lucky. I knew we were lucky. Not everyone gets that. Not everyone gets to live a long, full life with the person they love, with a son they adore, with grandchildren they cherish. Then came the morning, everything shifted. It was a Tuesday. Emily and Daniel were supposed to come over. Sarah had a doctor's appointment. I was making their favorite blueberry muffins. The smell filled the kitchen. I remember feeling a little lightheaded. Just a flicker, like a power surge in an old house. Then the tingling in my arm. My left arm. I tried to lift it. It wouldn't move. Like it wasn't mine. My vision blurred. The muffin mix on the counter looked like a kaleidoscope. Then the floor. It rushed up to meet me. The sound of the mixing bowl crashing. The warmth of coffee spilling. Then nothing. When I woke up, Robert was there, holding my hand. His face was pale, worried. He looked older. Michael was there too, on the other side of the hospital bed. His eyes were red. He looked so scared. My sweet boy. That's what I saw first. Fear. Not just for me, but for everything. For our life. Our future. It was a stroke. A bad one. They said. I was lucky to be alive. Lucky Robert found me quickly. They moved me to a rehabilitation center. Physical therapy. occupational therapy, learning to walk again, to talk without slurring, to hold a spoon, to write my name. It was humbling. It was terrifying. I felt like a child, dependent, weak. Michael visited every day. Sarah brought the kids. They drew me pictures. Emily's was a bright sun, with me in the middle. Daniel's was a stick figure me in a wheelchair, with a happy face. They tried to cheer me up. Michael held my hand. He'd talk about work, about the kids, about our house. He told me not to worry. He'd take care of everything. He told me he loved me. I believed him. Of course I believed him. He was my son, my only son. Robert was there too. Every day, he sat by my bed for hours, reading. Sometimes he'd tell me stories from our early days, our first date, our wedding. He'd bring me little treats, my favorite sugar-free candies. He'd help me with my exercises. He was patient, so patient. I watched him. His hair was almost completely white now. His hands were gnarled with age, but his eyes were still the same, full of love, or so I thought. After 3 months, I was allowed to go home. It felt like a lifetime. The house was the same, but I was different. I moved slower. My left arm still had a tremor. My speech was clearer, but sometimes I still struggled to find the right word. I needed help, a lot of help. Robert was my primary caregiver. He cooked, he cleaned, he helped me shower. He was exhausted. I could see it, in the lines around his eyes, in his slumped shoulders. Michael started coming over more often, to help. He took over managing our finances. It made sense. I was still recovering. My mind wasn't as sharp. Robert was overwhelmed. Michael had always been good with numbers, organized. He had a good job. He was trustworthy. He told me he'd just handle the bills, make sure everything was paid on time. I gave him the account numbers, the passwords. He set up online access. I signed some forms, power of attorney, just temporary. He said, in case something happened to Robert or me, it was a precaution for our protection. He said, it made sense. It really did. I remember one afternoon. I was sitting on the porch. Michael came out. He sat beside me. Mom, he said, you know this house. It's a lot. For you and Dad now. The upkeep, the stairs. We should think about downsizing. Maybe a smaller place, a one-story ranch, or even a nice, assisted living community, with amenities, a pool, activities. My heart squeezed. Downsizing. This house, this was our home, our legacy. I looked around, at the rose bushes Robert had planted decades ago, at the oak tree where Michael got married, at the porch swing where I'd read countless books. No, I said, this is my home. Robert and I are staying here. He nodded. Of course, Mom, just thinking out loud. But it planted a seed, a tiny, uncomfortable seed. A few weeks later, Robert started acting strange. He was quieter than usual, more withdrawn. He'd take long walks. Sometimes he'd get phone calls. He'd walk into the den, close the door. His voice was low, muffled. I asked him about it. He'd say, oh, just a friend, or a work thing, nothing important. But his eyes didn't meet mine. He avoided my gaze. Then one day, I went to get something from my old desk, in the den. It was a beautiful mahogany desk, an antique, my grandfather's. Robert always kept his important papers in the top drawer, always locked. I had a key. Of course I had a key. It was my desk, our desk. I opened it. It was usually neat, ordered. This time it was a mess. Papers shuffled. A folder was sticking out, one I didn't recognize. I pulled it out. It was a thick manila envelope. No label. I opened it slowly. Inside were bank statements, not ours. A different name, a name I knew. Karen Miller. Karen was Robert's sister, my sister-in-law. Robert barely spoke to her anymore. They had a falling out years ago, over their parents' inheritance. She was always difficult, selfish. I remember thinking, why does Robert have Karen's bank statements? I looked closer. There were transactions, large sums, moving from our joint account to hers. Not once, not twice, but dozens of times. Over the past year, even before my stroke, but more frequently after, hundreds of thousands of dollars, gone, from our savings, from our retirement fund. My hand trembled, my good hand. My whole body felt cold, a deep chill. It wasn't just a few thousand. This was everything, our future, our security. Robert, my Robert, stealing from us, stealing from me. With Karen, I confronted him that night. He was watching TV, a golf tournament, like any other evening. Robert, I said. My voice was shaky. He turned, looked at me. What is it, dear? I held up the folder. What is this, Robert? Who is Karen Miller? Why is our money going into her account? His face drained of color. He looked like he'd seen a ghost. His eyes darted away. He swallowed hard. I could see the lie forming, building up behind his eyes. He stood up. He walked over to the window, stared out into the dark backyard. It's complicated, Alina, he finally said. Complicated. I screamed, my voice rising. Where did the money go, Robert? Hundreds of thousands of dollars. Our life savings, our retirement, our future, gone. He turned back. His voice was quiet, almost a whisper. It was an investment. He said, Karen had a good opportunity. A business venture. It was going to pay off big. We were going to double our money. A business venture. With Karen. Robert, she's a snake. She cheated your own parents. You know this. How could you? How could you be so stupid? And why did you tell me? Why did you hide it? His shoulders slumped. He looked old. So old. I didn't want to worry you. He said, especially after your stroke. I thought I could fix it. Get it back. But it's gone, Alina. It's all gone. Karen took it. She ran with it. She said the deal fell through. She said she lost everything. But I think she just kept it. My world shattered. My heart felt like it was ripping apart. Not just the money. The trust. The years. The man I loved. The man I married. He gambled away our life. Our future. With his conniving sister. He lied to me. He kept a secret from me. A devastating secret. And he let me think we were safe. That we were secure. While he watched me recover from a stroke. I couldn't breathe. I stumbled backwards. Collided with a chair. My legs gave out. I fell to the floor. Tears streamed down my face. Silent sobs. Hot and painful. Robert tried to help me up. I recoiled. Don't touch me. I said, don't you dare touch me. That night I slept on the sofa. I didn't want to be in the same bed as him. The same room. The same house. The air felt poisoned. Every memory felt tainted. He hadn't just stolen our money. He'd stolen my peace. My sense of safety. My past. My future. He had betrayed every single promise he ever made to me. The next morning, Michael came over. He usually dropped by on Wednesdays. To check in. To see how I was doing. I sat him down. I told him everything. My voice was calm. Too calm. Like the eye of a hurricane. I showed him the statements. The transfers. His father's confession. Michael listened. His face was a mask of disbelief. Then anger. Mom, that's insane. Dad would never do something like that. This has to be a mistake. It's not a mistake, Michael. Your father admitted it. He gambled away everything. With Karen. He looked at me. Then at the papers. His jaw was tight. He ran a hand through his hair. I'll talk to him. He said, I'll make him explain. We'll get this back. I had a flicker of hope. Michael would fix it. My strong son. My protector. He always had been. But things didn't get fixed. They got worse. Robert was contrite. He was apologetic. He swore he didn't mean to hurt me. He just wanted to make us more secure. To leave something big for Michael. For the grandchildren. He kept saying it was all for us. A misguided attempt. A terrible mistake. I saw regret in his eyes. But I also saw weakness. A deep fundamental flaw I had ignored for decades. Or maybe it wasn't there before. Maybe it had grown. Like a cancer. Michael said he was trying to figure out a way to get the money back. He consulted a lawyer, a friend from college. He told me it was complicated. Karen was notoriously slippery. And without a written agreement, it would be hard to prove. It was a mess. Life in the house became unbearable. Robert and I lived like strangers. We ate meals in silence. We sat in different rooms. The air was thick with unspoken words. With resentment. With a crushing sense of loss. I felt alone. More alone than I had ever felt in my life, even with him right there. Then came the second betrayal. Michael kept pushing the idea of selling the house. He said without our savings, we couldn't afford the property taxes, the upkeep, the repairs. He said the house was a burden now. He said it was too big for us. He said it was just practical. I resisted. No, this is my home. Robert's home. Our home. We raised you here, Michael. He got frustrated. Mom, be realistic. You had a stroke. Dad isn't getting any younger. We need to be smart about this. I've looked into some options. There are some lovely assisted living places, or even a small condo, just for you two. I said I would not leave my home. Not ever. He pushed harder. He brought up my health, my mobility, my safety. He made it sound like I was being unreasonable, selfish. One afternoon, I was in the living room, watching some silly daytime show. Robert was on the phone, in the den, again. His voice was low, but I heard something. Something I wasn't supposed to hear. I heard him say to Michael, I told her she's being stubborn. She just won't listen. Then I heard Michael's voice on speaker from the den, loud enough for me to make out. Dad, just get her to sign the papers. We need to move this along. The market is hot right now. We need to sell. My blood ran cold. They were conspiring against me. My husband, my son, conspiring to sell my house, my home, the place I built my life, without my full consent, without my willingness. They were going to force me out. I walked into the den. My legs felt shaky, but my resolve was solid. Robert jumped. Startled, he slammed the phone down. "What are you doing?" I asked. My voice was a whisper, but it cut through the air like a knife. He stammered, "Elena, I was just what Robert, just plotting to sell my home, to put me where you want me to be, to throw me out of my own life. Is that it?" He tried to deny it, tried to say it wasn't like that, but his eyes gave him away. They were full of guilt, and something else, something I hadn't seen before, a calculating coldness, a practical ruthlessness I never knew he possessed. Michael called me later that evening. He tried to smooth things over. "Mom, we're just trying to help you. It's for your own good. For my own good." I shouted into the phone. I hadn't raised my voice like that in years. For my own good is not selling my house out from under me. For my own good is not conspiring with your father. You're no better than him, Michael. Or Karen. You're trying to take what's mine. He became defensive. "Mom, you're not thinking straight. Your stroke. You're not yourself. You need to let me handle this." My stroke. That was his weapon now. My weakness. My vulnerability. He was using it against me. The son I loved. The son I raised. My son. I hung up on him. My hands shaking. My heart pounding. The second betrayal was sharper. More painful, because it came from Michael. My son. The one I trusted with everything. The one I thought would always protect me. I realized then. They were not trying to help me. They were trying to control me. To divest me. To put me somewhere convenient. So they could sell the house. What would they do with the money? Split it. Michael and Robert. The remaining money. After they had squandered our life savings. The next few weeks were a blur of lawyers and paperwork. I found my own lawyer. A woman named Susan. She was sharp. She saw through their veneer. She listened to me. She believed me. She explained my rights. It was an ugly fight. Michael tried to argue that I was not mentally competent. He tried to use my stroke against me. He tried to say I was being irrational. Robert backed him up. They painted me as a difficult old woman, a burden, a hindrance. But Susan fought for me. She brought in doctors who testified to my cognitive abilities, my memory, my understanding. She showed the court the power of attorney papers Michael had me sign, how broad they were, how he had leveraged my post-stroke vulnerability. The court sided with me. The power of attorney was revoked. Michael could not sell my house, not without my explicit, unequivocal consent. He was furious. Robert was disappointed. Their plan had failed. For now, but the damage was done. My relationship with my son was in tatters. My marriage was over. Legally, we were still married. But in my heart, Robert was gone. He was a ghost in my own home. One afternoon, a month later, I was in the kitchen, washing dishes. Robert was in the living room, reading the paper. He said, "Elena, I've been thinking, maybe it's time we discuss the house." I looked at him. My eyes were cold. "There's nothing to discuss, Robert. This is my home. I am not leaving." He sighed. He looked defeated. But then he said, "I think it's time we get a divorce." The words hung in the air, heavy, like stones. Divorce, after 40 years, after everything. My eyes welled up, not tears of sadness, but tears of anger, of a profound sense of injustice. "Fine," I said. My voice was steady. "But you'll get nothing. You gambled away our savings. You plotted against me. You tried to sell my home. You will get nothing from this house. It's mine, all mine." He looked shocked. "But Elena, half of it is mine. It's community property." I shook my head. "Not anymore. I'm changing my will. Everything goes to charity, or to Emily and Daniel directly. Through a trust, you and Michael will get nothing. Not a single dime." His face turned ashen. He tried to argue, to plead, to reason, but I was done. Done with his lies, done with his weakness, done with his betrayal, and done with Michael's. I went to Susan the next day. I told her I wanted to change my will, to disinherit Robert and Michael. Completely. She looked at me. "Are you sure, Elena? This is a big step." "I've never been surer of anything in my life." I said, "This house, it's the last thing I have. The only thing they haven't managed to take from me, and they will never get it." Susan drafted the new will. It was explicit, clear, all my assets, the house, any remaining funds, to be placed in a trust for my grandchildren, Emily and Daniel, to be distributed when they turn 25, with an independent trustee. Not Michael, not Robert, no mention of my son. No mention of my husband. It was a clean break. A final declaration. I signed it. My hand was steady. It felt like a weight had been lifted. A small victory. A tiny reclaiming of power. I put a copy in my safe deposit box, and another with Susan. 6 months later, Robert moved out. He went to live with Karen, his sister, the one who helped him steal our money. He said he had nowhere else to go. I didn't care. I watched him pack his bags. Not a tear, not a single flicker of emotion. Just emptiness. A vast, hollow space where my love for him used to be. Michael still calls sometimes. He leaves messages. Mom, I miss you. Mom, please call me back. I want to see Emily and Daniel. But I don't answer. I can't. Every time I hear his voice, I see him, conspiring, plotting, trying to take my home, my memories, my future. He's not my son anymore. He's just a man who tried to betray me. I see Emily and Daniel sometimes. Sarah brings them, secretly, behind Michael's back. She says she doesn't agree with what Michael did. She's quiet, always has been, but she's loyal. To me, she believes me. She sees the truth. The kids hug me tight. They don't understand. Not fully. Why Grandpa Robert isn't here. Why Daddy doesn't visit with them. But they know something is wrong. They feel the fracture, the quiet ache in the house. The house, it's still here. My home, my sanctuary, but it feels different. Bigger, emptier. The quiet hum of the coffee machine is louder now. The refrigerator rumble is deeper. They are my companions, along with the echoes of a life that once was. A life that was supposed to be. I sit on the porch swing sometimes. The one Robert built. The one Michael got married under. I watch the sunset. The colors are beautiful, but I feel nothing. Not joy, not sadness, just a profound, unending quiet, a hollowness where my heart used to beat with love. For them, I am alone now, completely alone. My husband gone, my son estranged, my grandchildren held hostage by a broken family. I won. In court, I kept my house. I protected what was left, but at what cost? Everything. I lost everything, and there's no getting it back. Not ever. The silence here is deafening.